Today I'm going to be upcycling this old tin can, and this is one of the better tin cans that I like to use because it had sweet corn in it, and whenever you have one with sweet corn in it, it always has this lining of plastic film in it, so it is a really nice and easy tin can to keep clean, and you can use it for other things like putting water and things in it if you really want to. What I'm going to attempt to make is a dragon's egg with this because I've always fancied making one. The first thing I need to do to make the dragon's egg is to get it into the rough shape. Obviously this is going to be the opening of the dragon's egg and these are going to be the sides. And what I'm going to use to be able to kind of sculpt it out a bit is foil. Just normal kitchen foil that I'm going to crumple up into little bits like that and then glue onto the side to give it that roundish look. And all I'll use is my hot glue gun, my lovely cordless hot glue gun to do that with, because I love my hot glue gun. And the nice thing about foil is you can easily sculpt it into kind of the shapes that you want and fill bits in. And it doesn't cost much either. Now my hot glue gun's hot, all I need to do is put some glue on the can and then put some of this foil on all the way round. Now I haven't pushed my foil in too hard at the moment. I made it really dense because I want to be able to sculpt it more once it's on the can, and then that gives me the opportunity to sculpt it as it's going round the can. And you can fill the gaps in with spare foil. Like I've got gaps there. I will fill all those gaps in once I've got all my foil on there. Well, now I've got this all covered, and it didn't take long, just a few minutes. There's still quite a lot of give in this. So what I'm going to be doing is going over it with this bone. It's a tool that I use for making creases and things in paper. And I'm going to flatten this out like this, going over here, but also trying to get it into kind of a little fat squat egg shape. And it moves quite well. And then once I feel I've got that into a good enough shape, I can then go over it and check to see if there's any parts where it needs a little bit more foil or padding out a little bit more. Well, now I've got it covered all and it's all nice and smooth, or roughly smooth how I want it to be, I'm going to cover the whole thing in paper before I do the next stage. All I'm using here is a white glue, PVA glue, or any white glue with a tiny bit of water added to it, painting that onto my egg and then putting some paper on that. Now I want the paper to go all the way down and around to the base, but I don't want it to go more than just over and onto the lip, and that will become more evident as I carry on. And then once I've got the whole thing covered, I can then do the next stage. I love this technique. Not only does it use up a lot of waste paper that would normally go in the bin, but it also makes things lovely. I do overlap as well my paper because I find that that gives it much more strength and it gives it an easier surface to work on a little bit later rather than having lots of different individual seams. When I get a minute, I just sit and rip up paper so it's ready for when I want to use it. While the glue is drying on the can and on the foil, what I'm going to do is cut out my scales. Now, I've made two little templates here, and this is the sizes that I want. So these are the smaller ones that are going to go around the bottom and around the top edge, and these are the larger ones. So now I've got these, all I need to do is draw them out using a pencil, the shape that I want around my little template. I'm going to need quite a few of these, so I'm going to listen to a podcast or watch a Skillshare video while I'm doing them and learn something new. I love Skillshare. I'll link it in the description if you're interested in Skillshare, because I have got an offer token below. So once that's done, all I need to do is take a sharp knife, and I'm using my sharpest blades. I do change them quite often because I feel that they need to be changed quite often. I drag that around that shape and cut them out. And this again is just the waste cardboard from the envelopes and boxes and things that come with stuff that I get or family get delivered from Amazon. I finished cutting these out. I think I've made enough. If I haven't, I can always make some more. They took me about an hour to do that, and while I was doing that, I was learning a little bit more about bookbinding on Skillshare. And this is nice and dry. It's dry enough now for me to put these on. And how I'm going to do that is, unusually, I'm going to be working from the bottom rather than top. Now, if you work from the top, you can overlap them really easily, like this, going all the way down. But actually, I'm going to work from the bottom so I can slot them in and behind the one that is there to ensure that they're kind of sticking out a little bit like that, as opposed to laying flat on there like that, because I want them to be sticking out more. A bit like an artichoke, really, I suppose. And I'm going to go round the bottom in circles. So I'm going to do the small ones first, using my hot glue gun to put them on with. I'm going to do the first round and then I'm going to show you what I do next. Well, I've done the first round now, so what I need to do is pop these other smaller ones in here as close together as I can, going all the way around. And then all I need to do is pop a tiny bit of glue behind there to hold that on, and that will hold that away from the actual body of the egg. And then once I've done those, these ones, the larger ones, once I've gone around twice, will then fit behind there like that, going all the way up. I've finished that now, and I've gone all the way around, and I've got the smaller ones on the bottom, and the larger ones in the middle, going back into the smaller ones. And now what I'm going to do is, some of these are sticking out a little bit more than others, and I don't really want them to be sticking out too far, so I'm just going to pop round with the glue gun and put a little bit of glue where I think some of them are sticking out too far. Many of them are. Well, it's all finished now and it's ready to get its first painting, and what I'm going to be doing is going over it with some black acrylic paint to start with, making sure I get in all the nooks and the crannies, and that will be my base for decorating the final egg. Now this is all nice and dry. I want to give it a real kind of, unlike me, a sparkly effect. Now, if I don't like the effect that happens on it, what I'll do is I'll just paint it over black and just paint it one solid colour. But I'm going to try with some copper, bronze, this really lovely metallic lemon, dreamy lemon yellow, and then go over it with some dragonfly glaze and see what that happens. So initially what I'm going to be using is a little bit of dry brushing of the bronze, kind of get that bronzy feel to it, but I still want the black to be there as well. I want the black to be a really integral part of the edges and around it. I'm also going to, when it's all finished, give it a really good coat of a gloss varnish, because that will not only help protect it, but I want it to be a shiny egg. Yeah, I quite like that. So now I'm going to go over it with a tiny bit of copper, doing the same thing. Now, to me, copper and bronze look exactly the same colour, but I know that they don't to other people, so hopefully that will show. Now I'm going to be using the lemon yellow, and this should really make it pop, I think. I'm not washing my brush out in between because I don't mind if it mixes in together with each other. So now I'm going to let that dry up for a little bit. And then what I'm going to do is go over it again with the similar sorts of colours to make it look a little bit more solid, but still with some of that black coming through. Well, it's all finished now and all been varnished. I'm really pleased with how it's come out. I didn't actually repaint it a second time because I didn't think it needed it. This has been one of my funnest projects, and you know, it hasn't taken long. It took me about half a day, I suppose, to do this. Now, I've got a Christmas cactus in there. It's a shame it's not flowering, but there we go. It's because it's not the right time of year, and that pot sits in there nicely, and that's what I like about the size of these sweet corn tins. They are quite a nice large size, so you can just pop a pot in. Let me know what you think of it in the comments below. I'd be really interested to know what you think. And please remember to boot that like button. It really helps me to get my videos out there. And if you'd like to buy me a coffee, just to say thank you and help support this channel, the link for that is in the description below, along with the link for everything that I've used today, which is just rubbish. Do you know what I mean? It was something that would get in the trash can. Waste paper, an old can, a bit of glue, and some paint. I love it. Brr, my dragon's egg. Needs a bit of fire now around it. Take care, enjoy your crafting, bye!